Hi, everyone. Gretchen Morgan from the Center for Innovation and Education here to introduce you to the assets on this page, all of which are connected to that narrative that suggests that the only way to achieve economic mobility is to begin by getting that four-year degree. I think it's important we remember that the origins of this narrative were actually quite positive in their intent. A couple decades ago, we looked at the data, and it showed us that the people getting four-year degrees were not representative of the people of our country, and that people with four-year degrees were earning more than their neighbors who didn't have them. So we took on the goal of expanding four-year degree attainment, and we did some very good things. Remedial course reform, expansion of prior learning assessment, expansion of concurrent enrollment, all these things and others have contributed to expanded access to and expanded numbers of four-year degree completions. But there's some other things about how we did this that have created problems that I think are important to remember because we need to address these things when figuring out how to address this narrative overall. So when we said college for all, we looked at our K-12 system and we said, hey, that paternalistic behavior you have of sorting everyone, of deciding what pathway is right for them, which upholds and reproduces all kinds of bias and inequity, you shouldn't do that sorting anymore. But we held on to the other part of the paternalistic behavior, which was the push. In fact, we kind of said, do it more. School system, it's not your job to sort, it's your job to push everyone hard in this single direction. This has compromised the agency of young people, and it's also made generations of young people who didn't end up in a four-year pathway feel less than their peers. It also caused us to divest from career and technical education or vocational education. This has made high schools places that are less engaging, less relevant, and less useful, frankly, to a number of young people. It's also had negative impact on the community college system, where there's a long history of delivering a wide range of things that affect mobility in a really positive way. But when we said four-year is it, four-year for all, community colleges had to be really loud about the part they play in that, their associate's degree to bachelor's degree attainment, which is great. But I think they felt pressure to be more quiet about their CTE programs, about their industry certificates, or even about things like person who works in a skilled trade comes and takes a single business math class so they can advance from a worker in their trade to a manager or business owner in their business. Those things are powerful in terms of driving economic mobility, and they became less talked about, less visible, and less valued when we emphasized the four-year degree as the only way to go. There is some good news right now. CTE is kind of becoming cool again, which is great. And there are some reasons to question the four-year degree. Everyone knows about debt and what a problem that is. There's also vast underemployment of recent graduates, meaning they have jobs that don't require their degrees at the end of their education. And actually now for the first time, we're seeing that recent four-year grads are less employed than the workforce overall. But I don't think poking holes in this is going to be enough. I think we need to establish a new narrative that challenges some of these mistakes and gives people something to hold on to feel confidence in the way that they felt confidence in the four-year degree for all message. So I'm going to suggest one to you now, but really the point is use this as a provocation, use the resources on this page, and think about what's the narrative you want to start promoting in your community to address the misconceptions associated with the four-year for all message. Here's my suggestion. Career pathways aren't as clear or static as they used to be, and that is scary. But we know what young people need to navigate that with success. Young people need to build skills, they need to build networks, and they need to build agency. And we can help them build all three of those things. The reason I like that narrative is I think if you are interested in building agency, you'll stop with your paternalistic behaviors, or at least create a reason to challenge those more readily inside schools. If you're committed to skill development, you're going to think broadly about all the skills someone needs to be entering that adult workforce space. And if we're serious about helping young people build networks, we'll also expand the kinds of relationships we have with businesses. So we don't just work with businesses who serve a certain purpose, who give us a certain kind of money, who participate in a certain program. We would just want lots of them. Right? We would want lots of them coming, learning from Freeland Fisher and others about the power of shallow networks, lots of them coming in and just meeting our young people, having our young people know how to reach them, building their networks so that they leave us with skills, a network broader than they had from their family, and with agency to go and do something about it. So that's the narrative I'm interested in promoting. But again, the real point here is what's the narrative that's going to work for you to challenge the 4-year is the only way narrative in your home context? Check out these resources and let us know what you come up with.